Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Not Now Mom, I'm Gaming. My name is Kay, and on this episode we'll be doing a gameplay review of Date with Foxgirl, which has a base game that is safe for work and a DLC you can download if you want the adult portions. I want you to know that this game's all-time peak players is at 6, and the reviews are mostly positive. For me, the base game was a negative. However, combine it with the DLC and it gets a little bit better, if only because you don't have to read any more of the storyline. It's all animation and sounds at that point, and something most people are after when they purchase games from the Honey Bunny devs. It's short, has puzzles that get moderately more difficult the further you progress, and then ends with the DLC's bang. The blurb for this game states, "Have you ever wondered why you don't have a girlfriend? Or have you ever wondered if you will ever find a girlfriend? Sometimes it doesn't take much to meet a beautiful foxy girl. Just go to a cafe for coffee and time, and have a little perseverance and desire." As you might notice by now, I have set up subtitles, and I think I might be doing this for my podcast episodes from this point forward, just to help everyone out that can't hear very well, but would like to enjoy what I'm saying in regards to all these weird games I play. Here's, haha, hoping it helps you along. Now, let's get into the review. As with most of these games, especially those from the game dev's Honey Bunny studio, there's a short intro scene before the game starts. I think this is not only to provide a little jingle for you when you first boot up the game, but also because there's no actual title screen to these games. It clearly doesn't throw you into the game, but there's no title screen in the sense that there's a title with a new game and settings choice. The settings and gallery options are in the top right, the settings having only an option for sound effects and music. And it's a little unclear because one symbol is a volume icon while the other icon is a musical note. Two different sounds, but they could have made it a little more obvious which does what. Also, you can choose the arrows beside the flag to change the language, and then choose windowed mode or full screen with a button on the bottom. That one is actually fairly hard to see. Now, the scenes you can choose from have an image of the character all in a row with different outfits and slightly different poses, I guess. But you can't bypass the order. You have to start from the one on the left and move forward to the right. However, if you want to look further on at the images, there are these small arrows at the top to move to the scenes you can't currently see. Oh, and if you think you can bypass everything and go straight into the gallery, think again. You'll only see the images you've done or are on, meaning if you first boot up the game and go into the gallery, you'll only see the still image from the first scene. When you choose the first scene, there's a scene transition that's different with each game as far as graphics go, but the same concept. This scene transition involves Japanese sliding doors with watercolor, I think, images of cherry blossoms and a kitsune in the center. I really like the kitsune. It's quite cute. So once you're in the first scene, there is a puzzle to do. This is a very simplistic puzzle for the first scene. You basically have two loops that you have to connect correctly. So a cyan loop and then a red loop. And just move the hexagonal shapes to where you think they need to go until the image is complete. I find that these puzzles are a lot better for me specifically than the, 6-piece puzzles where you know where each one goes. And it's just putting it there to act like a game, to act like you're doing something productive when really you're not. Once the first puzzle is completed, you get the achievement Big Blue Eyes. And every achievement in this game can be obtained just through completing every single scene's puzzles. The base game only has 6 scenes to it. The Not Safe for Work DLC adds another 6 scenes. So if you get the base game, you're not going to be able to complete all the achievements until you download the Not Safe for Work DLC and complete that. So now we can see what the scene we have here is. She works in the cafe, Foxgirl Cafe. Her name is Miko. And a boy named Koichi enters the cafe. So she starts serving him, and then they kind of hit it off, you know. The visual novel aspect of this game, the actual story, it's garbage. It sucks. I don't think I can even blame it on the translation being bad. I think just the writing in general is bad because everything seems repeated. You got Koichi saying, "Good afternoon, lovely fox. What would you recommend from the menu?" And she responds, "Good afternoon. I would recommend our gourmet desserts." And it's kind of a repetition. Constant. That's not even the worst part of it. This is just the first scene. So Miko asks, "Do you come here often?" And Koichi says, "Well, not very often, but I would love to come here again if you let me." It's a coffee shop. Like, you're a customer. Come in whenever you want. As long as you're buying something. So Miko says, "Of course, I'm happy to welcome our regular guests here." And Koichi asks, "May I ask for your phone number to contact you if I want to come here again?" What? Why do you need her phone number? And she didn't even give him her phone's number. She gave him the office, this place's phone number. So if he wants to come here again, he's gonna call in and be like, "Can I come in?" Like, this writing. The story so far. I just have you know, as I'm talking through this review, I have a migraine, and it's only going to get worse. Like, I've already played through this game. I'm just going over the gameplay I've done, the recording, and talking about it, and it's like, I'm already frustrated. And I can't even say that this is the worst visual novel game I've played, because it's not. But this sort of sets up the scene for kind of coming together for their first date. So customer and server see each other, they have a nice little chat, they don't even exchange phone numbers, he just gets her work's phone number and then he'll come around again to see her. And if you haven't noticed already, there are icons for when one of them speaks, both Miko and Koichi, and it's just a generic fox face emoji and a generic person face, I guess, boy face emoji. They couldn't have put more effort into that? They just Googled some images of a fox face and a guy's face and slapped it on there. I mean, we know who's talking. So instead of a large name plate being on top of the text box or something like that, we get a face of either a fox or a guy. The background's really good, I think. The Foxgirl's decent. I mean, she looks pretty good. Kind of droopy ears. Maybe she's just like kind of being shy with them. What I don't like is the tail. Like the tail in all of these scenes, it just looks like the girl is an AI model and they had an artist come in and draw in the tail afterwards. It just doesn't match the style. Completely different art style from the Foxgirl model. Plus, in this scene, it doesn't even look like it's connected to her back end. It's like it's coming out of her side. I don't think that's how tails work. Could be wrong. I don't personally own a tail, so I'm just saying. As far as the movements of the character, I don't mind it. I feel like a little bit of movement is always better than having a still image, but still images are fine as well. It's just moving images seem to make things a bit more active in the scenario. The music is also pretty good for this scene. Kind of background sounds as if it was a cafe, and then some musical soundtrack with it. So not bad in that regard. Bad writing, bad emojis, bad tale. The rest, pretty darn good so far. Our next scene starts with a puzzle that's a little bit bigger than the first one. This one having 3 loops to match up instead of 2. It's still fairly easy in the sense that you just have to match up the end loops on the ends of the puzzles at the right place. The next bit is a little confusing. Miku has finished her work already. It's stated that she has by the line after finishing work, but when she leaves the cafe and sees Koichi waiting for her by the entrance, which is weird in itself, how long has he been standing there? He asks her if she'd like to go on a walk with him. I'm trying not to put him in the red flag category here, but it's difficult. I get it, some people are just lonely, but don't seek the company of others like this. Anyway, Miko states that she has to finish up her work now, which might take around an hour. Now, my brain is thinking she's going to wait an hour inside the cafe in hopes that he's going to wander off and go stalk someone else, but he doesn't. Here's where you see a good example of the repetition I was talking about. Koichi asks, "Do you want to go for a walk with me? I know a great place where we can go for a walk." He's really shoving his eagerness to the forefront, isn't he? Oh, before we head to the park for a little walk, she did do an outfit change. And each scene does give her a different outfit. I think her outfit looks pretty nice here. Cute, but reserved, I'd say. At least her tail is coming out from behind and not her side this time. Honestly, I don't really know what to say about most outfits. I'm just a casual t-shirt and jeans person. I'm not in the know for styles. Our next puzzle features 3 rings, and I don't think it's bigger than the last one we did, just a different layout change. I will say at this point it kind of sucks that the puzzle itself blocks the Foxgirl, even though you see her when it's complete anyway. And it's not like it hides anything from you specifically, it's just a personal annoyance. Koichi states he's happy we agreed to go out with him, and that's a double-edged statement, because we went out with him for a walk in the park, but I'm thinking his mind is thinking we're actually going out with him right now. Plus, it's not like he gave us much of a choice. And Miku isn't one to seem rude and brush someone off. He then thanks us once again for agreeing to go out with him, as if we already forgot that he's happy about it. Or maybe he's hammering the point home that this is a date to him, and he doesn't want us to miss that clearly bold and underlined point. He asks us if we can go to the park, and it's a place he said he wanted to take us in the first place, so why ask again? Also, I love the background here. We're not technically in a park yet, but we're in an area where sakura trees are clearly in full bloom. She looks nice here, sitting amongst all of them. Koichi wants us to hold hands before we set off for the park, so people who see us together know we're together and all that. The next puzzle is bigger and might take a bit more time to figure out, but hey, you should know how to connect the loops at a decent rate right about now. This is a scene that I don't like. I think it's the only scene that I don't really enjoy being in, just because going from the last scene with all the sakura trees and then this one makes the entire environment look fake. I don't like the grass, I don't like the trees. The only thing good in this scene is our Foxgirl dressed in a kimono, and maybe the picnic supplies all laid out, but you can't really look at that anyway. Koichi is just the sweetest man by giving us sandwiches and sweets to eat. Despite us being thirsty for his attention, he doesn't offer us a drink. The next puzzle is larger and adds in a 4th ring. This one is a light orange that might blend in a little too well with the background depending on someone's color blindness, I think. I'm not sure why they didn't go for a color that was more noticeable, because even I had problems remembering there was an orange ring on an orange background. Speaking of us being thirsty before, we finally got our drinks in hand. And I don't know where this place is that Miku states is her favorite place. I mean, all we're getting from the background is the outside of 2 buildings. One would think it has something to do with the drinks in hand, but maybe not. A little clarification of where we are would be great. The both of us start to get a little too mushy for my liking, like someone making kissy faces at you and clinging onto your arm. I'm just not one of those girls. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind PDE in general, but watching people obsess over each other makes me cringe. That, combined with this writing, really makes me cringe. Koichi is wonderful, and we're glad to be here with them, wherever here is. And he states the same. Then he asks, would you like to drink something delicious from my bottle? Boy, my eyebrows raised at his boldness on that one. I know nobody's around, there's alcohol, but simmer down, my guy. Just kidding, you filthy-minded folk. He's got Japanese green tea. So they both share a drink and talk about seeing each other again once the day's ended and our date has come to its conclusion. In the next scene, our conclusion ends with us sharing our next encounter with Koichi in a bedroom. I mean, the main game features 6 scenes, and this is our 6th, which means the next comes with the Not Safe for Work DLC, so you know what's going to happen next. But that's the upcoming portion. Let's stick to the here and now. This puzzle here is the biggest yet, and it's blocking her body enough that it almost makes you want to believe it's hiding something, but trust me, it isn't. This portion of the game is family friendly, just 2 people finding enjoyment in each other's presence and going on a date that miraculously sealed their love for each other. We're so glad he came to our house, but really, was she expecting him to say no at this point? And then she mentions her garden, and it's him with his delicious bottle all over again. He'd really like to see it, just like she really wanted to taste that Japanese green tea of his. This ending scene seems a bit shorter than the other ones we went through, but it's also a very sweet moment to end on, with her leaning her head on him and him hugging her, the both of them looking out the window. After this, the game takes you back to the scene selection screen, and if you go further to the right, those are blocked with Miku's fox emoji face. Which means this ends the Safe for Work portion of this podcast episode. But for all you patrons of mine, let's not let this stop us. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast review of the game Date with Foxgirl. I wouldn't recommend the base game by itself to anyone, but combining it with the Not Safe for Work DLC makes it a little more tolerable, seeing as you might actually be getting something out of it in the end. The base game is just so bad with its writing. Wholesome, but bad. Hopefully you enjoy the subtitles of this podcast episode. I'm very aware some people have hearing problems, and I don't always enunciate my words when I talk fast. Plus, I'm not actually reading what's on the screen, so the subtitles are helpful in that regard. But hey, maybe people would appreciate this on videos where I do commentaries as well. Not sure. In any case, I appreciate you sticking around for this podcast episode. And try not to get in too much trouble when you're having bonding time with someone and have to say, "Not now, Mom. I'm gaming."